Well, welcome to Batlift Battles. We're having a bit of a technical difficulty here. I can't get the theme song to play. Maybe my co-host Joe Keegan can get that done for me. So here's Joe.
Hello, I don't know. I put my hands up because I wasn't touching anything. It just skipped on.
I hit the button that says play the theme, and I got that. So something has happened to our technical our cues here, but that's okay. We'll just carry on and
maybe we should sing it instead.
You wrote it. Go for it.
You do the brass.
I don't know the brass part.
And me neither. I just put the black dots on the paper.
Well, isn't this a great way to start?
Yeah, of course it is. Yes. Exactly.
But you know what's even better is if we had a third person here to help us. So why don't we bring her in right now?
Who is it?
It's the Q of the BQN, Amy Nelson.
Well, hi.
What a surprise. Hi, Amy.
We're all together again.
Isn't it fun?
Feels so good.
I'm sorry that we had to bring you on an episode that started with a technical difficulty, but
you know, it's all good.
Amy, do you know the theme tune well enough to sing it?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
As always.
Man, do I even remember the Galaxy class theme song? No, I do not.
Do I?
You wrote it.
Yeah. Oh dear. How's things in Las Vegas?
Oh, things are going great. Having a good time, finishing up the school year. I mean, I'm just substituting teaching. You guys, I got an interview, hopefully to be a school counselor for next year.
Oh, you'll be awesome at that.
I just needed to get away from teaching, Yeah.
So as a counselor, will you get to wear a red jumpsuit or yeah?
Yeah, it will be like Jellicoe coming in, and I've got to wear my uniform. So.
There you go.
Yeah, so my interview's Monday, so send good vibes.
Oh, that's a luck. You don't need luck. You've got this.
Yeah.
I will send them late on Monday because that will be your time.
Oh, yes. That is correct.
What does a school counselor do?
So the district has been pushing for better mental health support to students. So there will be more of that, but in high school, it's just mostly graduation and credits and testing and, the boring stuff.
Okay.
But important.
Yeah.
Destination after
helping people choose careers in colleges. And
yeah.
Cool.
And then I'm sure you will relate everything to Star Trek and give these kids Star Trek episodes to watch to help them with their problems, right?
Exactly. You know what? This happened on this episode.
Why don't you become an astrophysicist? Because in this episode...
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. So how are you guys? Kevin, what's going on?
Oh, I am, I'm busy. I decided not to do, usually in the spring, I do a play with one of the community theaters. I decided, no, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to rest. It didn't happen. I'm not doing a show, but I'm so busy with other things that I'm out every night anyway. So, I am teaching improv this spring, which is fun. And we've just started rehearsals for a play that I'm doing this summer. I'm going back to work as Santa Claus this summer at the local theme park. So yeah, I got lots going on. It's busy.
Good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if Santa's going to come out because I know you bring him out at the summertime.
Yeah, I got a job last summer at the Santa's Village theme park, and they've asked me back. So there I am.
Awesome. And Joe, are you back to work? Are you finishing the school year?
But I'm still stuck on Santa during the summer. You must be
Santa's
boiling.
summer cottage.
Yeah,
Santa's
boiling
Village.
in that suit. Does the cottage have AC?
We have a small portable one that we bring in. The cottage was built in 1955, so it's quite an old original building that doesn't have much in the way of amenities. It's beautiful, but
Yeah.
it's over 70 years old.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Yeah, I'm good. I'm very busy. We are far too close. 6 weeks, 7 weeks out from our High School Musical production.
Oh, what show are you doing?
High School Musical.
Oh, High School Musical.
Yes. Yeah, I'm musical director again for the second time, so it's always a bit of a challenge because.
Is it weird having Scottish kids do a very American high school show?
When they do them, when they find their American accents, it might be okay.
Oh,
They tend to not be very good at them.
well, you can't expect miracles.
Yeah, it's like Amy's Scottish accent.
My Scottish accent is spot on.
Are we all doing Scottish accents today? Are we going to do the whole show with Scottish accents?
Okay. Oh no, I'm getting flashbacks of Chicago.
Oh.
I'm melting. Oh, dear, you guys were sent here to torment me.
Was that wait? Who was the actor? Was it?
I care not to say his name.
Rapp?
Why would you say his name? Like saying Voldemort to a Harry Potter fan. Anyways, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on.
I feel very attacked right now.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Here we go. Stop that now. That Klingon alert can stop now.
yes.
I
like how 3D that is, though, in my earphones.
It's very
It is.
It's very cool. Loved it.
Why don't we check and see if we've got any feedback from our last episode? And appears we do, both on Facebook and on Discord. So, Amy, do you want to read the top one there? That is from Facebook friend Mary Scherger.
Yes. Well, Mary says, thanks so much for bringing the battles back. I so enjoy listening to you all. Oh, Mary.
It's nice, isn't it?
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, I think the coming to the end of Galaxy Class, the battles were the one thing that we looked forward to because we'd done so many Galaxy Class episodes. It was becoming a bit of a struggle to think of more stuff to talk about. We'd run out of words.
We had. Go ahead.
Haven says, I voted TNG immediately, but I don't remember the Voyager episode at all.
Now, is that fair? Is that fair?
Haven, that is exactly what I did. And then I was like, oh, I should not vote because I knew I was going to be guessed.
Okay. Do you know what? Do whatever you want. It's your podcast, listeners. It's our podcast too.
That's true.
If you want to vote a certain way, just do it. At the end of the day, the votes don't count. Nothing matters. Nobody cares.
And you do get 2 votes because you can vote on Discord and on Facebook. So everybody gets 2 votes in this. And it's very interesting the way the votes played out on the 2 different platforms this week when we get there. So I think it's quite interesting to see how our listeners voted eventually. So after I posted the poll last week, I also went into TrekCore and posted a couple of pictures from the 2 episodes that helped Mahendran on Discord. After I posted them on Discord, Mahendran said, thanks, the images did help. So sometimes it just takes an image to jog your memory about what an episode is, right?
Yeah.
I think that's something we'll do in future as we get into the swing of doing these live episodes, is have stills from the episodes. So for the people watching on YouTube or wherever you're watching, you can see what we're talking about better.
So that is what we had for feedback. Thank you. I appreciate every little bit that we get. So why don't we move on to the 2 episodes here? There we go. A Klingon torpedo blast leads us into talking about Good Shepherd. Who would like to give me a little plot breakdown of Good Shepherd?
I feel like Amy wants to do it in theory.
Oh, I was gonna do Good Shepherd.
Sure, on you
Okay.
go. It's your choice.
Okay.
Guest choice.
Well, I like this because that's a very good teachery moment of, helping the young ones. So,
Mhm.
ooh, well,
Ooh.
okay. So they're talking about, and you guys are gonna have to help me out, but the main gist of it is that they are going to explore something, and Janeway is going to take a shuttle. But there's some crewmates, lower deckers, that have been like really lower deck. Like that one guy, like is only on like the basement of the ship all the
Janeway didn't
time.
even know how to find him.
Yeah, right. How do I go? Oh, turn right. And then there's one who's like a hypochondriac and always worried, and he reminded me a little bit of Barkley. And then there was the female who was always second guessing herself and her work, and like, oh, I can't remember who was it. It was like, you've got to double check her work because she's usually wrong.
It was 7.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Seven was doing the report of how the
Of
departments
the
could
least efficient
improve.
parts of
Yeah.
every department. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny too. That was really, really good.
Truthful.
Everyone's yeah. And then the other one, wasn't there 4?
Nope, there were just 3.
Oh, just the 3. Okay, yeah. So Janeway's like, we need to help these crewmates become better invested and, drink the Kool-Aid, basically. We love being out here. You need to be a part of the crew, which you are not. So they go and get some practical experience because they're all really good with book experience, but getting the practical experience then changes their opinion, gives them more experience, and they end up, yes, I mean, one sacrifices himself to save the Janeway and the other 2 crewmates. So I think it was a success.
Only redeeming quality, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know that was really sloppy of a review, but hopefully the listeners will figure out which one I'm talking about.
I summed it up well.
Yeah, no, I think that was great.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Joe?
No, I was just going to say, like, just full disclosure, listeners, I was messing about with ChatGPT last night, doing some things for work, and thought, why don't I get ChatGPT to write my show notes? So I basically went on ChatGPT, said, give me podcast show notes for this episode of Star Trek with this criteria, like synopsis, guest stars, rewatchability, importance to canon, all the things that we talk about, including all the trivia that we might mention. And ChatGPT vomited me like 4 pages of script. So I may just read out random things from it. And it's all pretty good. I've not found any mistakes in it. So it's pretty solid.
Yeah, no, when I saw your notes, I was like, wow, he did a lot of work.
Because that would have taken me like a good part of, an hour, maybe more. And ChatGPT did it in maybe 5 seconds. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. It's free. So
yeah, why not use it? Why not use it?
Interesting things about Good Shepherd. We know it's season 6, episode 20. It aired in the US the first time on April 5th, 2000. Directed by Winry Colby. And it's his first Voyager director credit. He had previously directed for Deep Space Nine and Next Generation, and it was written by Diana Gitto. Not sure. Gitto. Shall we talk about guest stars?
Sure. What do we know about the guest stars, Joe?
We have Jay Underwood, who plays Mortimer Harron, the guy with no redeeming qualities apart from attempting to sacrifice himself at the end. You might know him from The Boy Who Could Fly or Uncle Buck.
Oh,
I'm familiar with Uncle Buck, but not The Boy Who Could Fly.
I've seen The Boy Who Could Fly. It's a fantasy movie about a boy who has social anxiety issues and sort of teaches himself how to fly. Really, it's
cute. Yeah,
sweet.
Metaphorically fly or literally fly?
It's left ambiguous.
Okay. I would watch it if he could actually fly, like Top himself. I have this recurring dream from childhood where we lived at the top of a tenement, like a kind of block of flats when I was growing up. And I would wake up in my dream. You'd wake up and you'd think you were awake. And I would go to my bedroom window, like 3 stories up, and I would stand on the window ledge. And it would take me the longest time to try and figure out if I was awake or asleep. Because if I was awake and I jumped, I would die. But if I was asleep and jumped, I would be able to fly. And it invariably ended with me jumping and not being able to fly, but kind of slowly gliding down to the ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I just looked up The Boy Who Could Fly just to jog my
Mhm.
memory.
Sure.
Jay Underwood was the lead. He was the boy. So he was an autistic boy, but the plot features about a neighbor, a girl, who move into this new house, and she keeps thinking she's seeing him fly, or he can appear in places quickly where he shouldn't be able to, and so she keeps telling people that she thinks he can fly, and nobody ever sees him until there's an accident with a school bus and she falls off a bridge, and then she wakes up in a hospital and nobody knows really how she got there. At the end of the film, they formed a bond and they fly away, and it's a very, very sweet story.
yeah. I
So
think I've seen it, and he's the lead.
he is the lead. He plays an autistic boy named Eric.
So isn't that interesting? Is he being like typecast? Like, because in this episode, he was very antisocial,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, he's got some. Are they some autism spectrum disorder traits in this episode? I
Yeah.
just put it down to him being absolutely insufferable. But it would be interesting if the actor has he been typecast because he fits these roles, or is the actor maybe got some kind of autism or Asperger's? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that's almost what I was thinking.
I'm looking at his Wikipedia page now, and he also played Sonny Bono in the Sonny and Cher story. He played
Okay.
Ernest Hemingway on the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Oh
and
my gosh.
in the never released Fantastic Four movie from 1994, the one that cost only $1 million to make, he played the Human Torch.
There you
Yeah.
go. He's done quite a few
He
things.
has since really given up acting, though. Well, I guess he's done a little bit and become a youth pastor.
Oh,
hmm
okay.
Cool.
I'm liking this guest star.
He's he's done lots of interesting TV guest star work, and and now he's, like I said, he's pretty much given up acting, and he's taken up ministry.
Like the actor, hate the character. We can do that. We can separate them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the character is not somebody you want to get to know.
No,
Man, he was so rude to Janeway. I mean,
Yes,
he
didn't
was
care
just
about rank, did he?
brazen. It's like, well, I'm gonna go on the shuttle, or I'm gonna, you think that you're just as delusional, you know.
It's just there's no need for it. I mean, he lacks
Yeah.
those social skills, the social graces that we rely on so much.
I enjoyed the scene where B'Elanna prompted Tom to go and talk to him at lunch.
Oh my gosh, was that the best setup ever?
I didn't get that. Like the end of it, Tom comes back to the table and says, "Oh yeah, I invited him over to watch our television box."
Because that's what's funny, because she knew that he would fail, and he's like, well, I'm not going to give her the satisfaction, so I'm just going to say this, and then it's like the opposite, which makes it
missed that.
funny.
I was kind of confused about that. The other guest, William Telfer's character, is played by Marley S. McLean. He's the really nervous guy. He's always at sick bay thinking he's got so many diseases. Bit of a Barclay character, but socially awkward as well. He's been on the Tracy Ullman show. Never seen it, but get I'm aware that there's a Tracy Ullman TV show in existence, and Days of Our Lives, which is that the longest running US soap opera?
It's
Is
one of
it
them.
now?
I'm not
I
sure.
thought General Hospital was longer.
Oh, maybe that. I know that it's up there with them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I watched Days of Our Lives. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna check it out and see if I know him.
These are the days of our lives.
Yeah. So that tells me like those two credits don't give me much. I don't know much about this guy. But I thought he was good. As a hypochondriac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I want to talk about the three of them in general. So the last one, Zoe McClellan plays Tal Sellis, who's very insecure, keeps on getting details of her sensor scans wrong. Seven has to constantly check her work. She has been in JAG, which is the military courtroom drama.
Mm-hmm.
And Dirty Sexy Money. Never heard of it. I don't know that. I think in general, are these three characters a little bit two-dimensional?
Oh yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just taking one aspect, one like character trope, and just made a character out of it. And I think that's what kind of took me out of the drama a little bit, because they're just very one-dimensional, not even two-dimensional, one-dimensional, which annoyed me a little bit.
And did we ever see any of them before or again?
I'm not aware that we did.
I don't think so.
Which is fine. I'm okay with that. Because they're actors, they've got other acting jobs. They can't be staying on a starship 70,000 miles, 70,000 light years away. Yeah.
You know, but I did like the fact, like the Mortimer Heron was like, you know, I'm not supposed to be on the ship. I mean, I was here to do this little thing, just a criteria, jumping through a hoop so that I could have my analyst job and research job and not be involved with people. Like, I feel like he knows his strengths and he's trying to get to a position where he can be happy and not terribly dissatisfied with where he's at. So I like his was the most interesting out of the three characters. I felt I would say he's two-dimensional instead of one-dimensional.
Yes, I would agree with you. What is interesting about the three of them, the writers wrote the characters based on their own personal experiences, personal struggles and insecurities that they faced in various workplaces, which is good. But I wish they'd maybe fleshed them out a little bit more and made them a little bit more real.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because everybody has those experiences where you either have to feel like you got to keep checking what you're doing because somebody's looking over your shoulder, which, you know, in her case was kind of true because she always had Seven there, or that you just never feel good enough to do the job that you're supposed to be doing, like Telfer. So, yeah, I think they're interesting archetypes.
Yeah. Very much so.
As for other appearances, the only one who appeared more than once was Celis, the woman.
Oh.
She appeared in another episode in Workforce later.
Oh, okay.
But the two men never appeared again on the show.
Okay.
Another really interesting point about this episode, and we hear the name of the episode being mentioned, which we don't often get. Janeway talks about to Seven about, have you heard the Bible story about the Good Shepherd? Janeway in this episode is the Good Shepherd, going away to try and help the few for the needs of the many, I suppose, to put it in Star Trek terms. Also, this episode got an IMDb rating of 7.2 out of 10, if that's any help.
That's good.
Yeah,
I mean, just
have to come clean and say I don't think I'd ever seen this episode before. Late season Voyager is one of my blind spots when it comes to Star Trek, and I really enjoyed this. I like the fact that we focused on some characters that weren't our lead crew, but it also gave Janeway a nice chance to interact with some other people, and yeah, I really had a good time watching Good Shepherd.
yeah, I like it because you're getting sort of her reaction of being thrown into the Delta Quadrant, like, what she thinks about it, where she's like, if you can't control it, then enjoy the ride. Like, look at all the stars with astronomical features we've discovered and the countless people and species that we've met. Like, yeah, we're here out in the Delta Quadrant and none of us want to be here, Mr. whatever his name is, Mortimer
Heron.
Yes. So I like having her perspective because that's a philosophy where we all can relate to, where it's like life is not going to be, you're not going to be exactly where you want to be in life all the time. So when you're in a spot where you don't want to be, what are you going to do? How are you going to react? And so to see that comparison again with that one guy who, what's his name again? Harrison?
Mortimer Harren.
Heron.
Heron. Thank you. Mortimer Heron. I really appreciated that. And like just seeing her philosophy of how you deal with struggle.
Yeah.
That's a good point. You looked at it very deeply. I, on the other hand, there's some wee things that jumped out at me that I liked and didn't like. So I'm just going to run them down for you. The opening shot of Voyager, and then the camera zooms in on the bridge. It's not the bridge. It's
ready room.
Captain's ready room in the window, and she's there. I would really like that. That was cool. But then, alongside that, so that was a really cool special effect. Then the asteroid belt, not the asteroid belt, the ring system.
Oh, the ring, yeah.
Asteroids, yeah, looked really cheap.
Oh, you thought
the
so?
The CGI looked really dodgy, like it was from Babylon 5 or something. And it didn't like it. The other thing was, I remember when they're walking through the corridors delivering the pads with instructions. How stupid is that? You're in a big giant network starship hundreds of years in the future. You would just send the instruction, you'd send an email. I mean, you would send somebody with like a little computer going, I'll deliver this here. That was very stupid. And then the other thing, which I thought was stupid, but it turns out it wasn't, Mortimer Harren is talking to, or he gets the delivery of the pad, and he's talking to the guy that delivered it. And the guy says, oh, the cosmos is 16 billion years old? I'm sure it'll wait for you to do your real work, and you can sort out whatever you're sorting out later. And that jumped out at me as being incorrect, okay, because we know our current astronomical measurements place the age of the universe at about 13.8 billion years old. Okay. So it really annoyed me. So I Googled it, and it turns out back when the episode came out, so for the vast majority of the 1990s, our astronomical observations weren't as good as they are today. So the age of the universe was calculated anything between 7 and 20 billion years old. So it wasn't incorrect. It was just an estimate that was run about at the time. So there you go.
Interesting.
One thing that I found interesting, I think it was Janeway, or it sounds similar to what you were talking about there, Joe, but I thought it was Janeway where she's like, priorities, you can solve it and then you'll get some random variable that will pop up and then you're back to square one. Okay. I remember sitting at university and we were learning like formal proofs and like proving that square root of 2 is irrational. And there's so many different ways to prove it. And what comes out of it is like essentially you're dividing by 0, which makes the proof wrong. And that keeps coming up over and over. And I would try it, do it. And I'm like, darn it, I divided by 0. This throws my proof all wrong. But that scene did take me back. That was fun.
Yeah, he's trying to disprove some guy's theory of multiple Big Bangs.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's another thing getting in the way, which is like Mackay's conjecture or something, and Janeway's talking about this mathematical model or something that keeps on getting in the way. Once you think you've dealt with it,
it
just keeps
it
on
pops
popping
up.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was exact, because I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then eventually I inadvertently divided by 0, and it would just pop up at random times. I'm like, no. Anyways.
Even though this episode focused on these 3 new characters and Janeway's relationship with them, I think one of my favorite scenes was Seven's briefing of the senior staff and how they each reacted to Seven's suggestions of how to improve their departments. I liked, B'Elanna just gets belligerent. It's like, you don't think I know how to run my department? I just put that guy in a corner because that's where he's happy. And you could tell Tuvok in his Vulcan way was like, yes, you're right. We'll save 0.3 microseconds in efficiency if I move the phaser rifles. I like that. The way that she bumps up against all of them was really quite fun to watch.
And who was the one that called her out and was like, well, what about your department? And then
I think it was Harry.
Oh.
Harry, yeah, he did. I think that was down to Tal Sella's character dragging down the department with her mistakes. The other thing I forgot to mention, how big is the Delta Flyer? Yeah, it's got escape pods.
Yeah.
Those escape pods look pretty big.
Yeah. And it's like, this is gargantuan inside. It's like,
and there were 3 escape pods?
Yeah. It's like Discovery with the turbo lifts.
Well, I can see it having 3 escape pods because isn't the Delta Flyer designed to have a crew of 3?
Well, that makes sense.
I don't know. Well, there's like 3 seats.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Or did they all have a seat in the bridge with all 4 of them? Did they all?
No, I don't think so. I think one was always in the back.
Interesting.
So how about our last our last couple of criteria here? Importance to canon and what I've been calling trekkiness, or maybe we call it morals and meanings. What do we think?
Not important to canon. It's a
No,
character
not really.
study. It's a standalone episode that delves into, I suppose, primarily Janeway and how she's dealing with these crew people that she doesn't really know. So it's a character study for her. We don't learn anything, really. They don't revisit. I suppose the nature of Voyager, we're never going to revisit the places and people that we meet during episodes because they're constantly traveling home.
Amy, any thoughts?
Yeah, you're right. It's not important to canon. Really nothing at all. But the trekkiness, I think I've talked about, like Janeway's philosophy of being out there is totally Starfleet. You're going to make the most of it. You're going to work with your crew. And she's trying to get these misfits to drink the Kool-Aid and fit in and, enjoy and appreciate what Voyager has to offer, because they are not. And they're not working to their best efficiency, I guess. And they're not living their happiest life, as everyone witnesses. So she's trying to help. I like it. I think it's very Star Trek-y. Very Star Trek-y.
Do you think in the end she got through all 3 of them? Because that's one thing I didn't really care for. Was the end of this episode. The end of the episode was Janeway waking up on a bio bed in sickbay on Voyager, and we never talked to the other 3. They're still asleep. They're fine.
Well, we
That was
know for sure Heron did because he went and sacrificed himself.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
They saved him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he
Yeah,
tried. He was willing to sacrifice himself to save the crew where he once could give a rat's ass about.
So do you think that Harren's maybe going through the biggest change because he decided to do that?
Yeah.
But we
But
never
but then
get to
the
see.
girl, she Tal, right?
Yeah, Stellace,
Salus.
yeah.
Yeah, she gave that speech of we need to be together, and if the
Yeah.
captain, then we're gonna stay with the captain. So she had a transformation as well.
I feel she did, and then I think I felt like the hypochondriac
Yeah.
he did. I'm not so sure about Heron because
Hmm.
right up to the end he was defying the captain's orders. He shot that alien when she told him not to.
Oh, yeah.
He took off. You know, he said she told him, "Don't do what you're going to do." He went and did it anyway. They had to rescue him. Like, sure, he's being all selfless at that point, but he was told not to. And I don't know. I don't think he really learned anything, and I think he'll be happy back down in his little
Basement.
hole in the basement.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just my feeling.
Yeah. Our fourth guest says, while Good Shepherd may not significantly impact Voyager's overarching narrative, it contributes to the series' exploration of its characters' development by delving into the struggles of less prominent crew members. The episode enriches the viewer's understanding of Voyager's diverse ensemble. Additionally, it reinforces Star Trek's core values of inclusivity and empathy, making it a valuable addition to the franchise's canon. Thank you, ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
We should have them on as a guest again.
Oh, Peter made a comment.
I
So Peter said, I enjoyed both episodes. Good Shepherd was a bit like Lower Decks of Tim from TNG and Voyager's learning curve, giving us a peek at the junior officers and enlisted crew members. Yeah, that's pretty
Good
much the
point.
conclusion that we have come to here.
Yeah.
So shall we then transport over to the other episode? Here we go.
feel all tingly.
And just like that, we are on the Enterprise D in our discussion of In Theory. Mr. Keegan, what do you want to tell us about In Theory and the plot of that?
I'll give you the deets, the lowdown, as you guys say. So this was season 4, episode 25, and it first aired on May 11th, 1991. So a full 9 years before Voyager's Good Shepherd. It was directed by Patrick Stewart and written by Joe Minosky. ChatGPT gives me the synopsis. It focuses on Lieutenant Commander Data as he explores romantic relationships for the first time. Data begins dating crewmate Jenna DeSora, but his logical approach to romance creates challenges in the relationship. As Data navigates the complexities of emotions and human interaction, he learns valuable lessons about love and empathy. Okay. That doesn't really tell me what the episode's about. So somebody's at my front door. I'm going to ignore that. It's an Amazon delivery. So the Enterprise is investigating a dark matter nebula, and I'm pretty sure we've seen this nebula before. I'm sure it's a shot that we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
They're investigating a nebula. Data's working with Jenna DeSora to reconfigure some torpedoes to illuminate the nebula better so they can scan it. Jenna has just split up with her long-term boyfriend, and her and Data become friends, and they start dating. So it's this story of Data and his first love interest, I suppose, and how he navigates doing that, like dating somebody for the first time, going out on dates, moving in with them, all that kind of thing. It's a bit silly in places. And then the B side is investigating this dark matter nebula and the effect it has on the Enterprise. And there's pockets of dark matter that are traveling through the ship and causing damage. Yes, and there's the wee lady, Amy's visually demonstrating it, who falls through the floor and dies instantly. It's quite good. That's maybe my favourite bit of the episode. And then Picard has to take a shuttlecraft. I'm sure we've seen this scene before as well. The shuttlecraft has to fly in front of the Enterprise in order to navigate safely out of the nebula. We saw it in the one with the Turkalian battlecruiser, wasn't it? That was dampening. Did we see it there? I'm sure we've seen it maybe another twice. Anyway, so that's that episode. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I enjoyed this episode. I just think it's such a sweet episode. I think I'm going to jump right to guest stars because there's only one to talk about, and that's Michelle Scarabelli. I think she does a lovely job as Jenna Desora. Kind of unlike the three that we got on the Voyager episode, you know who Jenna is right from the beginning, right from her first scene with Data in the pre-credit scene. So I can't fault her. She's lovely, and as a woman who's had some trauma, with men, and she finds herself attached to somebody who can't hurt her emotionally because he has no emotions himself. I think that's lovely.
No, you go.
Okay. I really do like this guest actor too, Michelle. Like, she is the girl next door. She reminds me a lot of the Voyage Home. What's that aquarium?
Oh, Jillian.
Yeah, like it's
Jillian Taylor.
Yeah, and it's just she's just like down to earth and girl next door, and you can't really be mad at her. She doesn't come across as the brightest.
No.
So there's that really cringes at me. And then the duplicity of, you're supposed to pay attention to me, but you told me to go back to work. Like, ooh, the double talk that is relationship is such a product of the 90s. Like, their show after show after show was like, oh, just like Miles and Keiko, he throws his socks and I have to pick him up. It's just these little things that were so talked about in the 90s, and the duplicity of, I said this, but you need to understand it and read it this way. No, that annoys the crap out of me. I can't stand the episode because of that. And it is a great episode, but that whole communication process of, and Data's supposed to be learning.
Yeah.
He's learning what you told me to. Of course, like, men in this episode don't know what to do because women are saying this and meaning that. Oh.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Amy. I find that really problematic, especially when she arrives at Data's quarters and he's painting, and with the big perspex gift thing that she gives him, and then she explains that from page 90 of the Book of Love, when your girlfriend comes to visit, you're supposed to stop everything that you're doing and pay her full attention. I'm like, really? Yeah. Do you have to? I think, but then I'm thinking, would have had the same problem if it was a male character saying it to a female character? Would have had more of a problem. I think my point is that I have a problem with it either way.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be a rule like that. I mean, you don't have to drop anything for anybody at any time.
I just had this thought that this episode was filmed in 1991. So, of course, if we're going to put Data in a relationship, it's going to be a heteronormative relationship. But wouldn't it have been interesting if the Jenna character had been male? How different would the episode have been?
Or a replicator.
Because there's nothing in Data that says he is heterosexual. He is asexual. We only call him he because the form of his body is masculine.
He's fully functional, though.
Masculine, yeah, that's true. He is a fully functional masculine android. But there has been nothing to indicate that his preference for relationship would be female. And I think he only entered into this relationship because she instigated it.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, for sure.
So it would have been could have been a very different, interesting episode, especially for 1991, if Jenna DeSora had been Johnny DeSora.
Wow. I
Yeah,
like
that's not
that
going to
idea.
fly. The network execs would have jumped
Oh,
in.
yeah.
No, that's true. That's
We
true. It
don't
would
like
never have
that.
happened.
Yeah.
But when you were just talking
Accept.
about that and your feelings about how it is because a woman is manipulating him like that, how different would it have been written if it had been a male character?
Right. I like that idea.
The other wee thing about DeSora was she was almost portrayed as a woman that needs a man to be complete.
Oh, yes.
Along with Amy, you said she didn't appear to be the brightest. Like she wasn't the smartest cookie. And I think, is that a portrayal of how people saw women at the time? Like they're maybe not that smart, and getting married and having a relationship makes you a complete whole human.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely that is still that time period of, yeah, you need to be with a man in a relationship to be complete. Yeah.
Yeah, the societal rules that we follow. You have to get married by 25, have 2.4 kids, buy a house, have 2 cars, have a job, and die when you're 65 or whatever.
But I mean, the point is still there because people, and I just won't say women, but people continue to go back to unhealthy relationships. And I think when Data's I'm going to remind you the reasons why you should not get back together with Jeff, A, B, C, D. And she's like, oh, I get it. I get it. And he's like, well, do you need to rescind this arrangement that we have? Because you keep on going back. Like, duh. I mean, that sort of gives the impression that she's stupid, but I mean, she sort of is. If she's going back, that's the 3rd time that he had to remind her, woman, person, don't go back to an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because, like, a few times in the last couple of days, I've stumbled upon things on Facebook primarily, and talking about bear versus the man, man versus bear.
I've heard about this. Have you seen this meme, Amy?
Yeah, so I think it's talking about women
they've
feeling
asked,
safe.
Yeah,
like,
they've asked women, if you were alone in the woods, what would you rather encounter, a bear or a man you don't know?
Oh,
And most women
bear.
have said a bear.
Yeah.
Right, I get it. So I've not seen the original meme. I've seen conversations around the original meme, and I wasn't quite understanding it. Yeah, but I would choose the man I don't know, obviously, because I'm not a woman. But it just speaks to women's experiences throughout history, and how kind of attacks on women have kind of become normalized in society, I suppose. That's interesting. Thanks, Kevin. I knew somebody would be able to explain what it all meant.
Yeah.
And it's kind of in context.
Yeah, go ahead.
This discussion is reframing this whole episode for me, because I just saw it as, a light, fluffy, kind of fun, Data's learning to become more human episode.
Okay.
But you're right. It's there are some really awful gender stereotypes in this episode, and it really is an artifact of its time.
Yeah. I hate the bit where Data is being all angry. See, when he's uploaded a subroutine to be like, we're going to have a lover's tiff or whatever he calls it, an argument. I think the thing about me that scares me most is Data. If he did get very angry, he could kill you really easily. If he became violent and aggressive, which is kind of the way.
His subroutine would not allow harm to his crewmates.
I don't know. It scared me a little bit. It's very all of a sudden, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It just changes. Maybe the problems with you. It's like, okay, I don't like that. I don't like that side of Data.
I just had a terrible, dirty thought come through my head too, which is, how
Is it
much
network
of
safe?
Data's well, I'm going to make it network safe. How much of Data's fully functionality did Jenna take advantage of?
You know, that's an interesting question. And Joe, when you said that you implied that they were living together, like I didn't
Did
get
they?
that, but you're right. He comes in, he's like, honey, I'm home. I just
Oh.
thought he was coming over to pick her up for a date. But if he's moved in with her, then of course they have done the
There was
dirty.
no talk of sex during this relationship.
No.
And I would think that would be something that Jenna would require in a romantic partner.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, TV doesn't show it, but like Beverly and Picard enjoying breakfast together. We know that she comes in later, but in our heads it happened.
And that's in that scene we were talking about where honey, I'm home, and or no, it's the scene where he gets them a wee drink from the replicator and he's being all schmoozy.
Yeah.
It's like this weird James Bond vibe.
It's
Like
very
suave,
gross.
sophisticated. Like he goes on saga cruises or something.
It's like he used Chat GPT to
Yeah.
design his relationship.
Yes. So what those emotional responses that we are getting from Data is because how amazing is Brent Spiner as an actor? The creepy vibe and the instant anger, like he's pulling out this. Brent Spiner, seriously, sometimes he just surprises me at how well in character he is.
Yeah, no, you're right. Love the actor, hate the character in these scenarios. Just a testament to how good he is.
And how fun was it for Data to go around and get advice from everyone?
Yes.
Guinan and Worf and Picard and Geordi. That was really good. I know.
Why wouldn't he ask Beverly, who was in a solid marital relationship before her husband passed? That's the one person who had the most in common with Jenna, and he never talked to her.
Yeah.
She wasn't even in this episode, was she?
No. And that would have been, you're right, the perfect person to ask.
Wow. Was Troy in this episode?
Yes. Because Geordi was like, you should get advice from someone who's used to giving advice.
Yeah. And she told him, make sure you don't hurt her feelings. Don't.
I know.
Her. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's definitely needed to be said because Data can't have his feelings hurt. So we don't need to worry about that. You need to worry about Jenna.
True.
The one thing that Jenna said that sort of made me upset was she expected Data to be giving 100% of his Data-ness to her when she was there. And we all know that's not how Data works, that Data's mind is working on 1,000 things at a time.
Oh, that was so evident with the kiss. And she's like, what were you thinking of? Like, that was her last straw of hope. Like, if he felt anything for me, I will continue this. This is a good man. I can just hear it in her mind. And he's going off listing all these things, right, Kevin? And then it's like, and how much pressure to apply to your lips? And she's like, well, I'm glad I was in there somewhere. And it's just like, oh, but woman, why would you go in thinking anything different is going to come out? That's what loses me.
She's really needy.
Yeah.
Too much.
But there's people like that. So I get why the show, why it is, because there's many people who are delusional, who go into a relationship thinking it's going to be different, even though all the signs are there that it is not. She wanted to give Data feelings and he cannot.
Yeah.
That's so unfair of her to put that expectation on him. Ooh.
We hate her.
I do.
Jenna Sora.
It's getting worse and worse, Kevin. We better vote.
Yeah.
Is it time to vote? Up.
Is it time to vote?
Interestingly, this episode got 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Even higher than Good Shepherd.
Yes, by a whole 0.7.
Mhm.
Not much trivia really for this one I could find.
Mm.
Apart from the obvious things that we've already talked about, the
Was
love and
this
relationship.
was this Patrick Stewart's first episode that he directed?
Yes, it was first
Oh, his
directorial
first.
debut.
He
Yeah.
did a great job.
With what he was given.
Well,
Yeah.
one shot that I really, really liked was the flowers when Data brought him flowers and Riker said it will work. Okay, that was another stupid thing to say, but the way that Patrick Stewart shot that and the camera angle with the flowers in the foreground and them in the background, I really like that.
There was one little bit of trivia. Michelle Scarabelli was originally up for the role of Ishara Yar,
Oh.
Tasha Yar's sister,
Oh,
but they gave it
yes.
to the person that got it.
I can see that.
I know her mostly from the TV show Alien Nation, where she
Same.
played the mom of the alien family.
Yeah.
Mm.
And she was also in Quantum Leap as well. Do you know what? She reminds me of the actress from Terminator, Sarah Connor.
Oh yeah.
Sarah Connor.
Oh, I love
They've got a similar
Yep.
kind of look about them, I think,
Yeah.
but not the same person.
Mm-mm.
I think that's really it, isn't it? We've covered all the necessary bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Mhm.
Michelle Scarabelli is Canadian. That also is a nice little piece.
Oh,
She's
there
from
you go.
Montreal.
Interesting. Is Montreal French speaking?
Mostly, yes.
Mostly. Is that in Quebec?
It is.
Cool.
Oh, Peter remembers her from Airwolf. She was a regular in its last season.
I love Airwolf. There was the 3 TV shows about like super vehicles. There was Airwolf, the one about the helicopter. There was Knight Rider, the one about the car, and there was the one about the motorbike.
Oh.
What was the one about the motorbike called? Peter, come on, tell me.
So Airwolf is oh my gosh, Peter says, yep, Blue Thunder.
Blue Thunder. Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, well, no, I remember that one. That was the fighter plane.
That was another helicopter show, wasn't it? Oh, fighter plane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's the Blue Angels.
Street Hawk. Street Hawk was the one.
Michelle Scarabelli has recently been seen on Superman and Lois playing Superman's mom, Martha Kent.
Oh,
I get that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's cool. Okay, Kevin, shall we debate?
Is it time to vote?
I think it's time to.
Is it time to vote?
Should we sum it up?
Coming into this debate, I thought it was going to be closer than it was, but our discussion has really swayed me. So do you want to hear what the polls said before we go into our debate?
I think we should.
Okay.
Go for it.
On Discord, there were 7 votes. Discord is still a new service for us. We don't have we just don't have as many members on Discord as we do on Facebook. So on Discord, 5 people voted for In Theory, and 2 voted for Good Shepherd. On Facebook, where we have more of our interaction with listeners, 2 people voted for In Theory, and 12 people voted for Good Shepherd. So it was a blowout for Good Shepherd on Facebook.
So I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
I just am guessing because my first instinct was to vote TNG. If I don't know the other episode, I'm just going to go with TNG.
Same.
And so it sort of feels like maybe that could have happened in Discord. I don't know. But then our Facebook was all for Good Shepherd. So it's interesting to see that. And I wonder if people who voted for In Theory might change their vote after listening to this battle.
Yeah, because I think I was almost ready to vote for In Theory until this conversation, and there's some stuff in it that just doesn't. I just don't think it. I don't think it holds up in the 21st century. So I'm going to go ahead and cast my vote right now, and that is for Good Shepherd. Because I'll also say I thought, well, if I vote for Good Shepherd, is that because of recency bias? Because the first time I ever watched that episode was for this. I'm like, if I choose that over an episode that I know and I really quite enjoy, is that just recency bias? But again, I think this discussion we have had is has really swayed me to say no, it's not, and I think that Good Shepherd is the better of the two episodes, in my opinion.
Amy, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I definitely know In Theory. We've talked a lot about it, and Good Shepherd we had covered on All Good Things, so I'm pretty familiar. And again, I love the Good Shepherdness of like No Child Left Behind. If you know American education system with the Bush initiative, No Child Left Behind was disastrous. But the idea is there that we want to bring everyone along on our journey. So like that really talks to my teacher heart and philosophy that I feel. So, and then, yeah, In Theory, it just kept going downhill with the more discussion we had, like so many problems. I get why it was doing it. So I do give it its respect, but I was watching both of them and thinking there is absolutely nothing going on in these episodes. They're pretty much bottle shows. And what would happen if we had 2 episodes of Discovery or Strange New Worlds like this with like nothing happening, no high stakes? Oh, there's some dark matter. Oh, like just back in the day, how simple television was. And I did pause and take a moment and like, you know what? TV has changed so drastically. I'm happy that we have these random okay episodes. I love them. But my vote is going Good Shepherd. Joe.
I don't know. That is my vote. I don't know. I had, before I watched the episodes today, thought In Theory wins it. There's a beautiful shot of the Enterprise from the back, looking towards the Dark Matter Nebula. It just looks really lovely on our big TV. There's the woman in the floor.
Yes.
Really cool. But then all the problematic stuff, like even the science in it, I'm not sure if the science is correct for the time. But talking about dark matter, like dark matter is everywhere. We just can't see it or detect it or interact with it. And then Good Shepherd, they're both the same episode, aren't they? We're taking kind of a lower decker or one or more of them and pairing them up with a senior officer, and they're having a wee adventure. In Theory is about romance. Good Shepherd is about them being a bit inept at their jobs and try to bring them on and bring them in to be more part of the crew to make it easier for the life of the ship, and hopefully they'll go home a little bit sooner if they bring them on board. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to vote just now, and I know it's kind of besides the point because you guys have voted. I think I have to vote for.
You make it so hard.
Can you come back to me?
Sure.
No. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch baby by the toe. Do you know what? Good Shepherd keeps on coming to mind.
Okay.
Because it just keeps on coming. It keeps on coming, even though the special effects are really shonky at the end. But they do, the science is right. Yeah, okay, Good Shepherd. Good Shepherd, final answer. Did I win $1 million?
Excellent. So unanimously, Good Shepherd
Okay.
is our winner this week of our
Sorry that
Battle.
took so long.
How fun.
I will, Joe, you bring out a great point. The shots, the exterior shots and the astro stuff of firing
Yeah.
really, really good. And again, we get such beautiful visuals and screenshots of the Enterprise D, more so than any other ship. Still, I don't understand, why are we not getting these beautiful ship shots of Discovery? Like, it's just a flyby and I can't even see the ship.
No,
Like
we
this one
do.
you get to see.
We do get beautiful shots of Discovery, but they've put like 1,000 layers of lens flare in front. So it's like,
I can't see
it's
it.
like, can you see my face?
And they're so fast. And it's like this one, we're seeing the Enterprise come at. Oh, it's beautiful. They did it right back then.
Let's go back to canvas-coloured wagons and horse-drawn carriages.
No.
Well, are we excited to see what the next battle is?
I can't wait to see.
Yes.
Here we go.
Let's do this.
I'm going to
I'm going to
share
set
my
up straight.
screen. Boom. Look at the new and improved Wheel of Star Trek episode.
Oh, my other favourite franchise.
Here we go. We're spinning. The first episode will be...
Is this you trying to hypnotise us?
Yes.
Can you read it?
What are little girls made of from the original series?
Oh, goodness. Write that down.
I
This
am
is
writing
so exciting
that down.
doing this live.
And the second episode is... Here we go. Spinning. Spinning. Stopping on... The Chase.
Shut up.
That's quite timely, isn't it? The Chase.
Wow.
There we go. Yeah, The Chase. How
Can I vote just now?
Which one is more important to Kaylin as of this moment right now?
Oh, right. Oh my gosh. Oh.
What are little girls made of? And The Chase. Oh, yeah. We that should be a fun discussion. That'll come to us in a couple of weeks. We got a couple of weeks to think about that. We'll be that much farther into the Discovery season too. So that'll be...
I'm excited already. I'm ready to vote. So
yes.
What Are Little Girls Made Of is my favourite Star Trek episode of all time. So
is it? I could see it in your eyes. That's fun. All right. So why don't we just move on here to our closing? So I will just yeah. So we would love to hear what you thought of today's episode, and we hope you will join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, to continue our discussion there. Or you can follow the network on the app formerly known as Twitter or Instagram at BQN Podcast. Or please join us on our Discord server where the Battleth Battle polls will always be posted.
Amy, where can people find you when you're not phasing through the floor because of dark matter?
Well, when I'm not falling through the floor, you can find me here on the network where I am co-hosting All Good Things and Union Federation. I am on Discord, absolutely loving it over there. Amy Nelson 522, so find me there. In our Facebook group, BQN Collective. And yeah, that's where you can find me. And Kevin, where can people find you when you're not in the basement avoiding all... I don't know. When you're not in the basement avoiding
human contact?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. But if I'm not down there trying to discover the secrets of the universe, you can find me here on the network, on this show. You can find me in the BQN Collective on Facebook, and I'm in the Discord group. I always post the polls for these Battleth battles, both on the Batleth Battle channel on Discord and in the BQN collective on Facebook. I do another podcast with some local friends called True North Nerds, where we talk about fun, nerdy stuff. We've been a lot of talk about the X-Men lately because they have come back in a big way on television. And that's about it right now. And Joe, where can people find you when you have some weird, invisible, dark matter slug crawling out of your neck?
Oh no!
We never talked about that.
Gives me the absolute creeps. Yeah. So when I'm not doing that, ouch! You can find me on the BQN Collective on Facebook. You can get me on Discord. I'm a lurker though, so at me or whatever you do, and I will respond probably in 3 months' time. You can get me on. I uninstalled X from my phone, so I still have an X account.
But you're never on it.
Never there. Yeah, I've got Instagram at JoeyJoe77UK. You get me there. You can email me joepodcasts@gmail.com, and I may be able to find you in amongst all the spam I get. I do not need Viagra, thank you. And that's about it.
Excellent. Well, I am going to take us out of the room for a moment while we listen to a promo of what is coming up in the...
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Mark, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey, a self-proclaimed gamer who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. 2 episodes enter the arena, 1 comes out victorious. Join hosts Joe and Kevin, and a guest, as they debate which should win the Batleth battle. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed, but should definitely check out. Hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through the Star Trek cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Zalogis, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissy and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissy and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into Beta Canon with Peter, host of the online Trek Book Club on Twitter, and his new companion, Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Treksperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey. Whether you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch The View Screen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy, with Season 2 starting in September for a 10-week run. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with a LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the Tea-Bev. And for our Patreon members, we have The Hive Mind with monthly script readings, Let's Fly, a Discovery reaction show, It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Well, thank you, Amy, for that amazing message. That must have taken a while to put together.
Well, we do have a lot of shows on BQN, and we're so happy to have them. So my
It-
pleasure.
It's fun to see how much the network has grown over the past year since we sat around a table at an Italian restaurant in Chicago.
Yep. Crazy.
So see when you said what's TBEV, LGBTQIA, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely familiar with the I and the A of that, so I had to Google it while you were saying it. And the A could either stand for asexual, aromantic, or agender, but I misread it and read aromatic.
Aromatic.
I was like, what is aromatic in terms of sexuality? I was like, do you smell funny? Smell of herbs?
Well, Amy, would you go ahead and read?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
It's been a long time. All right. Well, listen, if you would like to help us keep all of our shows, those amazing shows, coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can join Let's Fly, our reaction show, script readings that we're having one today, and enjoy our special patron-only shows of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Please visit patreon.com/BQN to get all the details and watch your messages. If becoming a patron isn't your thing, you can still support the show by sharing our posts on social media, talking about it with your friends, or hitting the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts and leaving us a star rating or a written review. That helps others to find the show.
At this time, we would like to thank our executive producers who make this all possible, and a special thanks to Mark White for our artwork and me for our show music. Hopefully, it'll play at the end.
Yeah, I'll let you play it this time, and
I
at the end.
Yes, at the end.
So thank you for joining our Batleth battle today, and until next time.
I just gotta say, we have more viewers watching us now at the closing than we did at the beginning. So hi. Keep on watching us on YouTube. And can I bring back my closing?
Of course you can.
Would not expect any otherwise.
Oh, good. Great joy and gratitude.
I have never followed a sheep into the woods. That was a vicious rumor.
Honey, I'm home.